Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful framework from Ryan Rose's Arc of Awareness workbook. It's basically a map for navigating our own internal worlds with a lot more intention. Okay, so let's just dive right in with a feeling I think we all know. That feeling of being caught in a loop, reacting the exact same way over and over again, especially when the pressure's on. Maybe for you, it's that familiar, frustrating conflict you have at work. You can practically predict every single word before it even happens. Or maybe it's that wave of stress that just crashes over you right when you can least afford it, completely derailing your focus. It's almost like some automatic program just takes over, and you're just along for the ride, watching yourself react in a way you know you're going to regret later. So, why does this happen? Why do we get stuck in these loops? Well, it's because most of the time, we're just navigating our lives on autopilot. We're lost in this uncharted territory of automatic reactions, running on habit instead of conscious choice. The Arc of Awareness framework, it offers us just that, a map. A way for us to become skilled map makers of our own experiences. And the goal isn't to avoid the rough spots, but to actually navigate them with purpose, to move from being lost to knowing the way. So, what's the basic tool for this map? It's this really cool concept called an arc. You can think of it as the fundamental shape, the basic path of any experience we go through. In the workbook, Ryan Rose defines an arc as this structured movement. Just think about any change you've ever gone through, big or small. I'll bet it followed this exact pattern. And this breakdown is what makes the whole idea so powerful. See, every single experience, no matter how chaotic it feels in the moment, can be mapped onto these three stages. You have the beginning, your initial state. Then comes the messy middle, where the real turning point happens. And finally, you emerge with a new understanding, where you integrate what you've learned. It's a way to bring structure to something that feels totally abstract. Now, this whole arc concept, it doesn't just apply to a single moment. It's actually the building block for a complete atlas of our awareness. It maps everything from our own inner world all the way out to the world around us. So the framework expands this idea into 4 interconnected fields. And I think this visual is fantastic because it really shows you that our personal maps don't exist in a vacuum, right? They're nested inside these much larger landscapes of our family, our culture, and our daily practices. These 4 arcs help us see the whole picture. It all starts with the self, your internal world. Then it expands to family, your relationship patterns. Then culture, all the stories and systems you've inherited. And finally, practice, which is all about how you actually put this awareness into action. Okay, so to navigate any of these maps, you first need a compass. The framework calls this your inner ecology, which is a great way to think about your internal operating system. So let's break down its layers. It all starts with pure physical sensation. This is the raw data your body is sending you. Things like a tight jaw, a flutter in your chest, or a knot in your stomach. Next up, your brain starts to put a label on those sensations. It turns them into emotions. So that tightness becomes anxiety, that heat in your face becomes anger, and that lightness becomes joy. Then, of course, our minds generate thoughts about that emotion. The feeling of anxiety might trigger the thought, oh no, I'm going to totally fail this presentation. And finally, we weave all of those layers together into a really compelling story. I'm just not good enough for this job. And this is the narrative that usually drives our automatic reactions. So by understanding your own sequence, like do you notice the thought first or the sensation in your body, you can actually learn to intervene so much earlier, way before that big story takes complete control. So we've got our map, we've got our compass, but what do we do when the terrain gets really rough and you feel that automatic reaction kicking in? Well, for that, you're going to need a toolkit. This slide just illustrates the goal so perfectly. A reactive moment is simple. There's a trigger and then an automatic reaction. Boom. But an aware response introduces one absolutely crucial step, the pause. That little pause. It's everything. It's the space where we actually get to choose. It's where we take responsibility for whatever comes next. To help create that crucial pause, the workbook offers these simple but incredibly powerful tools called 30-second resets. And you can do them even in the middle of a super high-stress situation. One of the most effective tools is this 4-2-6 breath. The reason it works is because that longer exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which basically tells your body, hey, you're safe. It's a simple, biological way to create that little bit of space you need to choose your response. And this brings us to the ultimate point of this entire journey, and honestly, it might not be what you expect. The goal here is not to feel good all the time. The aim of doing this work isn't to somehow eliminate discomfort from your life. It's about becoming more responsible for our patterns, for our impact on other people, and for how we navigate the world with awareness, especially when it's hard. So the final takeaway is this. Becoming a mapmaker of your own awareness isn't about having all the answers. It just begins with the simple, courageous willingness to look at the map. So the question is, what are you willing to see?